And first, I would just like to thank my family, for my grandparents coming all the way out from St. Louis and Colorado Springs, for my sisters for always supporting me, being there for me, and most importantly, my parents. Thank you for all the sacrifices you have made, and without you or your support, I really wouldn't be here today. And to the club, thank Porg, Chris Armas, and the Rapids organization for this opportunity to be an MLS player, and to the goalkeeping staff. Bump, but thank you for all the work you've done to help me reach the next level, and for Sharpie. Thank you for believing in me from the very beginning and pushing me every single day to be at my best, and I really look forward to the work we have in the future, and to the Real organization. I thank you for all you've done to help me progress as a player and a person. And lastly, I would just like to say how honored I am to be able to be a part of this club and this team, and I'm very excited for the season and what comes with it.
All right, we'll open the floor now to a few questions from our local media. Following today's official press conference, we'll make Adam and Brian available over to the side, as well as goalkeeping coach Chris Sharpie and Academy Technical Director Chris Cartledge as well for one-on-one media. Just a reminder that if you have questions, please state your name and outlet before you ask the question. We'll go ahead and kick things off.
Hello. Hi, Adam. My name is Matt Pollard. I'm the managing editor of Heavyweight. What was your favorite moment from the World Cup in Indonesia, and what are your goals from a youth national team perspective this year? Thank you.
For me, I think everything was great, and I would say the Burkina Faso game that got us to the round of 16 was probably my favorite moment with them. And for me, really looking forward, it's just working every day to see how far I can progress. I think it's just doing all I can to control it and just be the best teammate and player I can, and see where that takes me.
Hi, I'm Ricardo with Area Sports Network. Just wanted to know, what's the first thing you've noticed in the style of play that the first team plays compared to your time during Rapids 2?
For me, it's a new staff, and it's going to be different, and but it's a style of play that is attacking. It's attacking football, and they want to get forward, and they really want to play with intensity. So I think it's the biggest thing is the intensity part, and they want to go score goals and play forward.
Yeah, good job. Congratulations. Down below, QVGD Rapid Grant. How did the pressure of the World Cup, and forgive me, I didn't know where it was, but how did that go, and now being with the senior team, how is that different?
Yeah, I mean, I think for me it was a great experience to be able to learn how to deal with that and cope with pressure at that stage, and it's the same way, it's the same process going in and everything, how I prepare, and it's the same for club and the national team. So I think for me it's great to have that experience, and now I can take that on and that experience to now with the club.
Hi Adam, Sydney from Rapids Digital. What does it mean to have the support from these other homegrowns here in attendance for this, momentous time, and what does that say to kind of them as influences for you?
I mean, it means everything. There's obviously a long line of players that are in front of me, and it's something that I try to live up to is what they've done. And growing up here in Colorado, it's been a dream to be sitting here, and so yeah, it just means everything.
Brian, we've seen that the Homegrown and the way that MLS goes about the rules about that with scouting and everything is constantly changing. What's the biggest thing the club's doing to develop that? And can you speak more to the relationship with Real, which is clearly bearing fruit, along with the other clubs that you've done a good job of having a cooperative and symbiotic relationship with the local area?
Yeah, I'll start with deflecting all credit to Chris Cartledge and those guys on what's happening there. The homegrown rules have changed in a way. They've tightened up a little bit on, you can't just protect everybody because they happen to be near you. So what that does is it opens up some big markets. If you look at our successful homegrowns, they've been Colorado kids, and that's really cool. But we know that competitively, we need to be looking further out. We have hired in the last year and a half, we've hired a full-time scout to deal with our youth programming. We have other people looking constantly at that as well. So we have a ton of resource being put into identifying players and maybe expanding our player pool a little bit from what Colorado is. You know, I think I would certainly suggest speaking to Karts a little bit at the end, but in the relationship front, it was very difficult when we came into the market, in the youth market, that was very successful, that was very set, and we upset the apple cart a little bit. And as the years have gone by, it's taken dedicated time, and somebody that's not coaching teams, somebody that's there to really create those relationships. And I think, I know that people like Borg and Wayne have gone out and spoken to the clubs as well, but the time and the effort that's been put in by Chris and his staff, not only to reach out, but also to prove the trust should be there in the way we go about. Instead of recruitment, we think of that more as being part of the player pathway and extending the player pathway for those local clubs for that very, very select group of players that need and can utilize that. So I think it's all in the way that Chris has done a good job with his staff of reaching out in there. And I do think that Real has been extremely receptive to that. They've been a very good partner in that, and I think we have other clubs in the state that are in the exact same place. A lot of other clubs that are in the exact same place that in the end, when you go to their website, it says something about the mission and the individual and promoting player development and all of that. And I think we can be a tool to extend the development life of these players and give them a line within their own community to do that. And I think, you know, the way Chris has gone about connecting the community has been excellent, and it does truly provide a full pathway for these guys.
For Adam, having both Zach and Marco in the goalkeeping core with you, what are some things that you've been able to learn from these great shot stoppers?
Yeah, I think overall we have a great goalkeeping group, and to be able to work with them every day, it's been great for me to learn from them. And but I think they're great goalkeepers, but they're also great people. So it makes it that much better to go in every day and compete with them and learn from them and really just enjoy that time.
Adam, what have been your initial impressions of Chris Armas, and what was your reaction when he told you were going to be on the bench on Saturday?
Yeah, he's a great coach, and he's led us so far this preseason and now into the first game of the season, and he's really set a standard of what he wants, and I think that's the biggest thing. And yeah, when I first found out, I was a little shocked, but it's also it's a role that I have to fulfill and help and make sure I support Zach and the team and make sure they're prepared for the weekend.
For you, Brian, Adam's development pathway was a bit unique than some of our other homegrowns, given that he went through the academy at an R2 and now signed a first-team contract. What does that say to the current status of the player development program here in Colorado?
I think when you look at the player development program was started in 2007, and there were a lot of drawings on the wall about what this should look like. We had to, when you don't have something, you partner to find it. And in the past, in this kind of gap, we had an under-23 team, but it was an amateur under-23 team that we were allowed to bring homegrowns in for a couple of months and continue that contact, but not really, you know, etch that into the pathway. So then we were in the relationship in Charlotte and then Colorado Springs, where we had really good results, and you know, Vinesy's in here today, and that was part of his pathway. But in the end, it's not as easy and it's not as efficient as when you have that in your own house. And this was something that we dreamed of from day one, to have the second team fill that gap and create a true kind of bridge to our first team. That has happened not only to our first team, but from our academy upward into a higher level. The players have immediately responded to the environment. I'll give 100% shout out. I don't think anybody, it's a big secret what I think of the work that our staff did in that area as well last year, the last couple of years, last 2 years that we've had the program there. So I think when you have a complete pathway, I was in the parking lot before I came in here on a call with 24 people. And that call was our player movement call. And that not only included the first team staff and the second team staff and the academy staff, but everybody from the equipment managers to the admins, to the performance, to the medical, and everybody in between. Anybody that affects our ability to correctly get people in the right environment every single day is on that call. So there's a massive commitment from the club to getting that right. I think that this means that we're at a stage that we kind of want to be with the overall program. Obviously now it becomes getting the details right every day and continue to build on that structure, but I think structurally we're finally where we want to be.
And this is for you both here. As you guys have heard, the Colorado Rapids have partnered up with the Colorado Soccer Foundation to provide free pickup soccer and opportunities for the youth of Colorado. Given you've been growing up here in Colorado and playing here, how huge is this for the future of Colorado kids and for the academy?
Yeah, it's huge. Growing up here, I know what it's like to play youth soccer here, and to have that partnership means a lot, and to really help the next generation of players.
Yeah, to me, anytime you can get in, and it's funny because we create futsal leagues so people can just play, and then all of a sudden you're paying a coach $4,000 to go win the futsal league, right? So it's maybe defeats the purpose. So the more times that we can put out some of these initiatives that will allow players to just play, just have fun, figure out if that's what they really want to do. I mean, we know in the case of an Adam or any of those guys that are in the back of the room that they need more, they'll take more. That will actually keep them in the game to give them more. We have some kids that just want to go roll a ball out and play. And so finding that balance and finding something that's right for everybody is really important. And for the retention of players until maybe they decide this is what I want to do, when we're talking about promoting players to an elite level, and then just the retention of players that love the sport. And if their last experience in the sport because they decide they want a girlfriend or a car or whatever, that's fine too, but they didn't get driven out of the sport. They made a choice. And so the more times that we can offer them an environment that's comfortable for them to play in and figure out who they are and what they want to be, the better off we're going to be.